Howdy, everyone. Welcome back to CW. I don't fucking know what episode. 100 and something, probably. Yeah, today we've got Luke. It's me. We're gonna crack on. We're gonna try and deal with Luke's awful internet. Luke, mate, how you feeling? How's your week been?
The violation. Oh my god. I can't believe it. My week has been okay, mate. It doesn't even when was the last time we spoke? Oh, it was only on Saturday, wasn't it? That's why it doesn't feel that long. Not that much has
Yeah,
happened. I got some body fat calipers.
nice,
I've got blisters on my hands from cleaning gym equipment,
nice.
and that's about it, mate.
Are you aiming for a certain measurement on the body fat calipers or what?
No, I just tracking numbers.
I like that. That's cool. I'm a big fan of body fat calipers. I like them.
Mate, they fucking hurt.
Yeah, they do, especially when you're lean.
Bro,
Yeah, they're
it's
fat.
not a vibe. It's really not a vibe.
But data collection, there is a vibe.
Oh yeah.
Data is
Collectible
pain.
data.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I like it. I like it. They are good. By the way, your picture is completely frozen. Just for
Oh,
reference.
that's good.
Okay, cool.
Nobody watches on YouTube anyway.
Should we do it like we'll do an audio only? Bosh, there we go. Audio only. Yeah, man, I think calipers are slept on generally, particularly like back end of a prep. It's so hard to see fat loss that's going on. Particularly if scale weight's not really shifting, having like a concrete like, no, you are fatter, you are waterier, no, you are leaner, like is so fucking useful. So yeah, I rate that. I'm really excited to get dieting. I can't lie, man. The itch is there quite badly.
Oh yeah, when do you start?
End of April.
Can you not start sooner?
I could do, but I want to finish this push up. It's been so fucking productive. I'm not.
But you're really fat. You need to start now.
Fuck up, bro. Yeah, plan is do. I'm gonna wrap up April. Do 4 to 8 weeks of aggressively pulling down is the current plan, and then do 8 weeks of health phase, and then take it from there. But that's the current plan. We'll see how we feel when we get lean. But yeah.
So what happens if you're not healthy after 8 weeks?
Run longer, mate.
Do you not just go back on anyway?
No.
Why not?
you imagine? That's like the only phase where people think that, like, it's like, can you imagine doing a diet to get lean? It's like, well, what if you're not lean enough and you just fucking bulk anyway? Like, Jesus.
Anyway. Mate, that's what most people do. What are you talking about?
Yeah, to be fair, fucking hell.
I was trying to get lean, but it just wasn't working, so I just started bulking again.
When people like, it wasn't working, I'm like, what did you do? And they're like, I put my food down to 3K calories. That's so low. Or people like, I got down to 2,500. It's so low. I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. 2,500 is not low. Like, get it fucking lower, mate.
Yeah, I was chatting to a guy the other day, and one of the first things he says to me is, I know how to train, I just need help with the diet. And you know, that's like a surefire red flag of I know absolutely fuck all.
Yeah.
And he proceeds to tell me that on tricep day he does straight bar press downs, reverse grip extensions, rope press extensions, single arm with a D handle reverse grip and normal grip, just pushing down. And then he does overhead single arm again with a bar again, and like literally fucking 9 tricep exercises. It was insane.
Tricep day.
Mate, it was not good. It was not good. But anyway, the thing that I was going to say was about the diet. And so I was asking him to sort of tell me about an average day and sort of how he's going through it. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, my brain's going, it really doesn't sound like you should be as fat as you are at the moment, if that makes it. Like, if this is what you're eating, you don't need my help, surely.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, does the days vary from that at all? And he's like, well, probably 4 times a week I'll get a large pizza or a burger and fries. I'm like, that's not variance, that is the normal day.
Yeah.
Like what?
More often than not, I will eat a full fucking takeaway. It's crazy.
Yeah. That was my
Yeah, when you're only doing 3 days of that, when you got like, he's basically got 3 low days, right? When you got like 3 low days, don't tell
3
me
low days, 3 refit days.
Yeah, don't tell me that the low day is the normal day. Yeah,
Oh, mate.
4 times a week I bang my hand against a wall. So usually I don't do that.
Yeah, and every week I smash my head up against the wall and wonder why I'm not losing any body fat. Bosh.
I just
not
love it, man. Yeah, 4 times a week I get a full fucking takeaway on top of my food.
And if he wakes up late, he'll start the day with 3 cookies. Okay.
What?
Yeah, bro.
Oh my days, bro. Aim to you to be like, I need to drop body fat.
So guess what?
What?
He's gonna try things by himself for a little while and sort of see how it goes.
Fucking fantastic, mate. Fucking fantastic.
My audio's messed up. Give me 2 seconds. But I know you're laughing at this.
You're good. You're fine.
Yeah. How good is that, mate?
I love when people are like, yeah, I'll give it a go. And I'm like, okay, sweet. No. How long have you been trying this? Couple months, couple years, nothing's changed. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, mate, you just need a bit more time. Just keep cracking on. That's what you need, bro.
Yeah. Oh, it's when somebody's struggling to make progress, it's such a good way to frame it of, okay, so you've lost what, on average 0.5 kilo a month, yeah? Okay, and you want to lose 20 kilos. You know, you know how long that's going to take you, right?
14 months.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, yeah. By the time the next Olympics rolls around, mate, you'll be looking a little bit leaner.
Month number 1, let's go. Speaking of losing lots of body fat, do you know what we meant to talk about that we never did because we're really organized?
Something about Paul Carter? No, I'm kidding. What is it?
I fucking hope not. Ozempic and Manjaro, wasn't it, mate?
Oh shit, yeah, right. Let's talk about that today.
So I was chatting to my mum and her partner the other day and that sort of thing. And they had a couple of friends around for dinner. And they were like, oh, since I can't remember his name, we'll call him Steve, because he's obviously a Minecraft character. They were like, yeah, since Steve started that job, he's lost like 2 stone, and we're like, fucking hell, that's good. It's only a couple of months. Yeah. And then this person continues to carry on, and she says, yeah, I think that Manjaro's been helping him a bit. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Okay, so I'm not sure it's the new job. I think it might be the fact that he doesn't want to eat food anymore. Yeah,
that'll do it, mate. I might be. I wonder if it's the new job or the appetite suppressant. We'll never know.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. Oh, Lord. This is a very, very similar thing to what we were speaking about a couple of weeks ago with the I don't want help from a coach because, you know, I want to take full credit for the progress. I want it to be my progress. Yeah. Sort of thing. Like, oh, I don't want to take a GLP-1 agonist because it's cheating. I want to lose the fat myself. Like I don't want to get the help from it. And I'm getting a little bit frustrated with this sort of thing recently because I've heard it a fair bit of those sort of things of like, you know, it's cheating. I don't want to do this. And like, it's with every single client that we coach, right?
Yeah.
If they get the result that they want, it's their fault. Like it's because of them. If they don't, it's also because of them.
Yep.
Okay. No matter how fucking good we are at our jobs, and I mean we've, you know, been doing this collectively, I'd say towards a decade.
Yeah.
Between the two of us, sort of thing. And we haven't been sued yet, so we're probably pretty good at this. But we're essentially just a glorified sat nav. Now, if you're trying to go to work that's 10 minutes away and you've done that like fucking 1,000 times, you probably don't need a sat nav to get there, unless you're a retard like me and want to check for road closures every single day because you got shafted by it once and then are really paranoid. But if you're trying to drive to the other side of the country and go on the long fucking journey that is not hating your physique every time you look in the mirror, probably going to want a sat nav for that, aren't you?
Yep.
You're probably going to want a little bit of of help with that. But it's not going to mean that, you know, splashing £100 to £200 a month on a coach is going to automatically do that, because it won't. And there's also a cohort of people that think just spending money is going to get them results, which it fucking won't. The best thing that's going to get you results is, funnily enough, actually doing the work and giving enough time. But yeah, to continue the half-baked car analogy, having someone that knows the fastest route of where you want to go, lets you know, okay, are there any roadworks, are there any traffic, is there anything that we need to avoid, and obviously when you need to get fucking petrol again so you don't just burn out, is pretty damn helpful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of a bit of a rant off there. Should we maybe go back to Ozempic?
Sure.
Well done, Luke.
There's a very weird mindset around progress of it's definitely not everyone, but it's a subcategory of people who want so yeah
I'm in a bad mood.
of people who want so. I think it is an ego thing. I think it's often more men than women that say it. It's definitely an ego thing of like, they just want to, they any kind of intervention to help them at all is like taking away from it, and it's very weird to me.
What about jabbing a needle up your bum? Surely that's an intervention that they tend to be fond of.
Yeah, but they don't still
it's
mean
not steroids progress, is it?
That's the thing. It's very interesting where they draw the line, because it's like, okay, well, you did look at that Jeff Nippard video that one time and he did tell you how much protein to eat, so aren't you going to thank him? You know, like, oh, you watched that Athlenex video that told you that maybe bench press is hurting your shoulders because of this, so maybe make that adjustment. So should we?
I hate that bloke so much.
Hey guys, Jeff Cavalier from Athlenex. But do you know what I mean? Like, where does it stop? Like, technically, mate, that progress isn't yours. Part of it's genetics. So aren't you going to thank your parents? Aren't you going to thank Tesco for letting you buy that chicken? Do you know, like, it's just a very weird mindset. Once you get into the root of any kind of intervention that's helped me at all, that's taking away from my progress. It's like, well, then nothing you've ever done has ever truly just been you, because everything is interacting with you, all of it. So it's a very confusing mindset. That again, people will buy a program, people will look up what to do and listen to another human being, but then getting coached by that person is too far. Do you see what I mean? It's very weird.
Yeah, and I'm cautious of retreading ground that we've covered before with that. So we'll try and steer clear of that as much as possible. So for the people that aren't really aware, like, what the fuck is Ozempic, Mounjaro, all of those sorts of things, and what do they do?
So they are GLP-1 agonists, which is a very fancy fucking way.
Stop using science, mate. Too complicated.
Sorry.
Overcomplicating it.
Make hunger go bye-bye.
Yeah, so, basically.
For people who don't know, they're injectable compounds, which are currently being trialed in medicine. I think what's the semaglutide, which is the actual compound that Ozempic is the brand name for, has been around in type 1 diabetic populations for quite some time now, but they're now being trialed in general population as a fat loss drug.
I'm getting ads for it.
Really, are you?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Like, it's really weird though, because it's like it sort of intros as like a body positivity ad. And then it's like, by the way, if you pin yourself with this thing, it's so weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it gives me odd vibes. I'm not gonna lie.
That is a bit weird. But sorry, yeah. For people listening, it gives you basically like no hunger signaling, which reduces your drive to eat. And for anyone who knows anything about very simple dieting, if you eat less food, you're probably gonna lose some fat. So
hormones.
It's a hormonal intervention, so that'll be why, mate.
You got me there.
But yeah, like it literally, it doesn't do anything beyond just making you eat less by reducing your appetite. You can still, if you've got an awful relationship with food and you stress eat, etc., you can still overcome its effects really quite easily. Like if me and Luke took our current diets and then took Ozempic and then continued to follow our current diets, it would do absolutely nothing for us.
Except probably make us throw up a bit more frequently.
It would make it so fucking hard, yeah.
The way that I describe how it works in terms of as you so elegantly put it, make hunger go bye-bye, is the feeling you get after a Christmas dinner where you know that you've eaten too much food. And you're like, oh my fucking God, this food looks lovely, but the thought of more of it is just not on. Like, I do not need this in my life right now. That's very much the effect that it seems to have. Not that I've fucking used it, but you know.
No, neither one of us has used it, and that's not because we're opposed to using it. Before anyone calls us hypocrites, we just haven't had a need to personally. But just because I haven't gone skydiving doesn't mean I hate people who skydive.
Mate, I met a lady at the gym who skydived 400 times in like the last 2 years. I'm like, oh, okay, fuck, you know.
Did she come through the fucking skylight? How'd you meet her?
She was training because she wants to be stronger. I don't know.
Reference into the gym. She wants to be stronger. What, so she can fall quicker? Oh, fucking hell. But you can quite quickly see why people don't like the idea of an Ozempic or a Manjaro, because they are a hunger intervention, because they make it quote unquote easier. Now, Luke, what should we do? Should we do the main arguments again? I guess that is really the main argument against it, right? That's the only argument against it. It's just it makes it easier. It's cheating kind of vibe.
Yeah, you should just have the willpower to do it by yourself and not use these drugs that big pharma's probably fucking laced with, I don't know, heroin to get you addicted to it or some shit. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but it's usually some strain of like grow the fuck up and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, that is the only argument against it. And it's not a valid argument. And me and Luke are here today to talk about why it's not a valid argument. Now,
it's a bit late, aren't we? It came out like a fucking year ago.
True. What do you mean? No, this is brand new, mate. Came out yesterday. So I think I think the main thing is the people who come out against it aren't the population who's going to be using it.
Ooh.
I think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say that most of the people who take issue with it
are people that have already gotten themselves in shape.
Yeah, and I think that maybe it's a jealousy thing. I think potentially that like, I suffered through dieting. Why don't you have to suffer through it? Do you know what I mean? That could potentially be it. But the population of people who say, like, you know, just fucking crack on with it are people who have had the willpower to diet, to control appetite, to control cravings, and to just get on with it. And Luke, what would your kind of rebuttal to those people be about maybe why the application of Ozempic is more nuanced?
Because it's almost got this baked in assumption that everyone has the same amount of willpower.
Yep.
Like your willpower level is 1 and it will always be 1.
Yep.
And everybody else has got the willpower of 1. So if they can't do it, it's just because they're fucking lazy and don't want it bad enough, basically. There. Whereas actually just like literally fucking everything in the entire world, your genetics and your environment play a huge role. And anyone who's listened to this podcast for a little while will have seen that example with Jack and the things that we spoke about early on with sort of his relationship with food and his food focus. It's not that he didn't want to be a good bodybuilder. It's that he was way more susceptible than I have ever been to temptation with food.
Yep.
And that's why he used to go on holiday and gain 5-10 kilos.
Yeah.
It's not because he didn't fucking want it bad enough. It's because the sort of hunger that he would get just generally after dieting is like, and when I say like sort of recreationally dieting, like getting himself 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 80% body fat. Like you look at him and go, yeah, that's like a fucking normal amount of body fat sort of thing. Is what I got post show when I was like fucking 7, 8. Yeah,
exactly. I think
and even then I didn't really binge. Like I had a couple of handfuls of cereal and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's nice. I might have a few more later.
there's a lot
I
of
didn't
things.
sit there and eat like 10,000 calories in a day.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that went into it for me. So one absolutely is for me, appetite post diet in particular does ramp up very aggressively. So it's something that like that hunger hasn't gone away. I'm just kind of more used to it now. Environment as well, like childhood and kind of the types of foods and the type of like relationship with food and the relationship with hunger in particular that you had as a kid plays into it. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, and like that's the thing is, you've got some like Luke obviously struggles with taking food quite high, less so nowadays, but you definitely used to. The way that I would struggle with taking food quite low back whenever. And again, there's a big difference between like relationships with food, craving, satiety, and there's a lot of things that go into that. And it's not just physiological, it's also psychological as well. Like we see people with like, I've definitely in the past, a long time ago now, but I've definitely in the past had like levels of food addiction and like binge eating issues. And
it's a really tricky thing, because food is like the one sort of drug that you can be addicted to that you can't just stop taking, because
exactly.
you die.
Yep.
Like there's a reason that anorexia kills so many people, because it's a very complex mental disorder that's very tricky to manage, because you like, I want to be as thin as possible, and part of that comes down to not fucking eating food, and when you don't do that, you eventually die. I know, bizarre, very bizarre. What was I going to say? And but that this is sort of one of my, I guess, weaknesses of a coach, is that I don't understand this as well as you, because I've not personally had that sort of experience of being someone that really struggles to manage that.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I just put all my clients on Ozempic because I've got a referral code for that shit. Let's go. That was a joke, just to clarify.
Yeah, the thing, like, I think a lot of the people who struggle or who struggle to understand Ozempic or Manjaro probably don't have that background of like any kind of strained relationship with food or food addiction, and that like you absolutely can overcome it. It's something that like I'm significantly better at than when I used to. But those thoughts,
It's almost like you practiced.
I know, but those thoughts still exist. Like if like I still have to, like I will still, when I diet, have cravings and have to actively work my way through them. I will still have ramped up hunger and again have to relax into it. Like those aren't automatic processes. They are more so, but it's those are still things that like I have to actively like work my way through. And again, like it's improved naturally, but those are still things that exist for me. And so if you think about someone who's had a worse relationship with food than me, because again, like I by no means had the worst one. If you've got someone who's morbidly obese, their relationship with food is probably absolutely fucked. And
I don't see how somebody could be morbidly obese and have a good relationship with food.
Yeah, no, you categorically can't. The same way that you can't be, extremely anorexic or borderline without having a fucked relationship with food either. Like there's just no way to get there. And yes, absolutely, hormones can change how much food you need to maintain your body weight, but equally, like if you are morbidly obese, you're not living off salads. Like that's always going to be true to an extent. Like yeah, there are differences, but that's still, you still have to like vastly overconsume to get there.
Were you waiting for me to talk now?
Yes, I am.
I don't really have anything to say though.
So the main thing is,
I've covered it, mate.
the main thing of paying against Ozempic is that it puts people on a more level playing ground where they don't have to worry about hunger as much or relationship with food as much, but they still need, I would still say they need guidance. They still benefit from guidance. They still benefit from a nutritionist, because the main downside we see from these drugs really is just people under consuming, particularly protein. Like the biggest concern,
which is something that people don't eat enough of anyway.
Yep.
So they're then in a position where their appetite's even lower. They don't want to eat any more food, and they're in a harsher caloric deficit than they probably ever been in their life for an extended period of time. because they're now don't have that drive to eat so much, which is then a very good environment for, funnily enough, losing muscle tissue.
Yeah, exactly. So with these things, you have to think about the wider impacts, like who they're going to be used for. They're not going to be used for someone who, you know, has fantastic relationship with food, because there's not really that need. And again, there's still difficulties and issues. There's still like energy level management, because that's absolutely going to be an issue if you're under consuming. Dosaging is going to be really important to make sure people, again, just don't absolutely like kill themselves off. Mood regulation, relationship with food is still going to play into it. I was never someone who stress ate or really had cravings. For me, it was just like more hunger and satiety that I struggled with. But there are people who do struggle with, like, you know, stress response eating or binging beyond their normal hunger levels. So if you've got someone who, you know, even if they're full, you know, something stressful happens, they binge, that's, you know, there's only so much that a hunger suppressant is going to help if they're already ignoring their own
if they get stressed enough, they'll still fucking binge.
Yeah, exactly. So then a different intervention is needed. And again, that's where, you know, if we're looking at interventions, like if you took someone and you gave them therapy to work through that, would you be like, oh, you know, that's cheating? Like, no, it's an intervention that they need. You know what I mean? I think because it's pharmaceutical, people take issue with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, as you said, still a place for getting help alongside that, because now you haven't got to worry so much about the quote unquote willpower of just fucking sticking to the thing.
Yep. Yeah.
And because you don't have to worry about that, we've maybe got a little bit more emotional bandwidth to learn how to not eat like a complete and utter cunt.
Yeah, exactly. It makes the plan that you give someone far easier for someone to stick to, which is kind of like the point of our whole job. And again, often, like, we run into it's possible that you run into clients where they are they're kind of a little bit beyond our help in terms of, like, they need some kind of like psychological intervention, you know, and like there's only so much that you can do in terms of, like, you could go, okay, I can give you this plan, but particularly around food, like there are people where you encounter them and you're like, okay, I think you have an eating disorder or disordered eating to the extent of, you know, needing some form of outside help before I can then give you a plan that you will stick to, because you're just not going to stick to this plan. And, you know, that's not really, that's kind of a waste of your time. So
yeah, there's definitely more research that needs to be done. Like, one thing that's a little bit concerning is that there's some of these receptors in your brain as well. So that's probably gonna have a longer term impact on how you actually interact with food and that sort of thing over time, which is obviously pretty interesting, and will be interesting to see how that affects people over time, and the impact that has. I've just said the same fucking sentence twice, but you know what I mean. It like anything, it's not like, yeah, absolutely, it's amazing for everyone under every circumstance. Like Carol, that just has got like fucking 5 pounds to lose to fit into a bikini, probably doesn't need Ozempic. But Susan, that got 30 kilos to lose and she's been trying for the last 4 years, is probably a pretty good candidate.
Yep.
And one of my clients works for it's sort of like a bridge department between Cambridge University and the NHS, and they do some shit at Adam Brooks, and he's drafting the proposal at the moment to put GLP-1 agonists on the NHS.
Yeah.
Because, have I told you this before?
No.
Oh, okay. So one of the things that he said is that when an obese person goes in for an operation, on average, they stay in for a week and a half longer.
Yeah.
Which, just for the same procedure, whatever it may be, obviously averaged across different procedures and how invasive they are and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that will cost them £90,000 to £180,000, which is a lot of fucking money.
That is a lot of fucking money.
And because the NHS is the biggest drug buyer in the world, they can negotiate a very, very good price for this. So where people will privately pay £100, £150, £200 a month for this through a private prescription, they can get it on the NHS for like £20 to £30 per person.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, you really don't have to be very good at maths to work out how much money that saves.
A shit ton, basically.
Yep.
Again, I think, there's nothing wrong with more and more people being in a healthier body fat level. Like, again, there's still going to be some level of like, you're still going to, you can't
Very bigoted opinion there, mate.
you still can't maintain everyone on that body fat level forever, and you can't have everyone on Ozempic forever. So there's still going to be like, I'm all for people understanding nutrition to a better degree. It really does need to be improved, and it's only going to serve to benefit us. And I think people gatekeep things like this because they're like, oh, I don't want everyone to look like a gym goer, or people get competitive about the gym. And like, first of all, that's not going to happen. Like, if you look at countries like, I think it's Japan, where they have a school nutritionist and they teach nutrition in school, like, they do not suffer with, again, this is a very multifaceted issue. This is not me saying that this is a direct cause between them and therefore why, but they do not have an issue with obesity, which is fantastic. A lot of their population tends to be a little bit healthier, which is also fantastic. I'm sure a school nutritionist and teaching people nutrition at a young age is a big reason for that. They don't need to be nutritionists themselves, but like having a decent level of understanding of like what sensible and appropriate eating is fantastic, and that's beautiful. And especially because I bet as well, if you teach them young and teach them properly, there's probably a decrease in eating disorders as well, which would be fantastic. Again, that's me speculating, just covering my ass a little bit there. They don't walk around like bodybuilders, and they don't walk around like gym rats. And I think just because there's more information out there doesn't mean that it means that you're going to start to look like everyone is going to start benching 100 kilos, and suddenly you who's gone to the gym like fucking 10-15 years is going to start to look average like everyone else. Like, I don't think that's the case at all. I think general populations being healthier and healthier is only going to serve us better, and having a better understanding of health and having a better understanding of it and its importance being emphasized is only going to benefit more people. And I don't think that belittles fitness in any way. I don't think that belittles coaching or nutritionists or fat loss coaches in any way at all. I truly don't. I think both can coexist. And I think a lot of people who are coaches and PTs in particular who are scared of this, I think they're coaching and PTing for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, because it's an extra tool to help you. It's not like taking away from what you do. I have a massive gripe, however, with the thing that like, oh, people just don't have enough information. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to eat. No, you know that you shouldn't eat a 5-pack of cookies in one go.
Yeah.
You know that you shouldn't have a takeaway 7 nights a week. It's not going to be very good for your health.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of things that we help people through is like setting their life up in a way that makes it way more likely that they make decisions that get them to the thing that they want to achieve.
Yep.
It's psychological, it's behavior, it's people.
Yep.
It's not should you have 150 or 170 grams of protein a day. And don't at me for those numbers. That's a really odd, like 170, that just hurts the soul.
Yeah, exactly, man. I think a lot of the issue with like, I think a lot of the issue surrounding like, a lot of this, I think, comes from disordered eating patterns, which again, if you teach people appropriate nutrition at a younger age and you do it properly, I feel like hopefully that would reduce. I think more education on any topic is only going to benefit more people. As a general rule, I think it really can't hurt things any worse than it already is. And as well, people, I've forgotten my fucking train of thought there. Holy shit.
Well, while you get that back, even so, like, yes, proper education is going to be really, really helpful. Yep. And integrating that with developing the good behaviors. Like if we say, right, you should probably have a couple of portions of fruit a day, and then you go downstairs and you're like, oh, mum, have we got any fruit? And she's like, no. Yeah. And you haven't had any fruit, or like learning about the importance of fruit is not very fucking helpful if you're not like actually eating the shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Even then, learning about it doesn't guarantee that somebody's, say, never gonna develop disordered eating patterns. Like some people are just more likely to have those problems, even if they had a perfectly fine upbringing. There's something about the makeup of that individual that means that, you know, they're just gonna have that issue, or it might be something that somebody said to them at school, or all of that shit there, which is not particularly fun.
I remember my point. I think a lot of the issue is people go for convenience, and convenience is often unhealthy. And I think if people had a better understanding of, I don't think, I'm not for the elimination. I'm not for never eating a pizza, and I'm not for never eating ice cream. Like, ultra processed foods have a place in modern diets. They categorically do. They serve a fantastic taste purpose and a fantastic social purpose, but they are just overconsumed. And it really is that simple. We need to consume less of them, but less is not zero. Oh my God, I will go and eat at McDonald's again in my life. It is not going to be something I will never eat. Why? Because I enjoy it. It tastes nice. I'm not going to consume it all the fucking time. And if I go, I'm not going to order 12 things, but I am going to enjoy that on occasion when appropriate, based on, again, my goals, my needs, my diet, etc., my health, whatever. But again, I think people go for convenience and they confuse convenience with crap. And I think if more people understood better eating, better recipes, better meals, maybe if they really understood a bit more about their food, and if there was generally a better culture around health and healthy eating, I think that would benefit more people more. I think the biggest issue is people, get a 9 to 5, they kind of order convenience. Uber Eats becomes like, fucking a huge part of their day. And people just kind of go for like convenience and taste. And convenience and taste doesn't inherently mean unhealthy, but it does if you're not that educated on food. And again, I think that's where food education would be great, where just teaching nutrition is one thing, but teaching cooking and recipes, and like, that's the missing element for nutrition that I think a lot of people struggle with, is like, we can all understand that like having some chicken or some beef, some rice, some grains, some olive oil, and some veggies and fruit would be fantastic. But also, what the fuck is that meal for most people? So let's try and like give people some actual like, good recipes and meal ideas as well.
This reminds me of two quotes, and I can't remember who said the first one. But everything in moderation, including moderation itself. So if you want to be a cunt occasionally and get away with it, you need to be reasonable most of the time.
Yep.
And that kind of leads into the second thing, which I can remember, comes from Thomas Sowell, and it applies to so many things, whether that be like, how do we end the fucking Russia-Ukraine war, or what Trump's doing with tariffs, or the choices that you make within your diet, which is, there are no solutions, only trade-offs. If you want to pick the convenient thing and you do that for long enough, you will have to deal with negative consequences of that. There are repercussions of that thing. Just like if we were to say, right, okay, I'm going to stick to my meal plan 100% all of the time. I'm never going to have a beer with the lads. I'm never going to go out for dinner with my partner. Like, there's a pretty big fucking trade-off to that, in the sense of you have no life.
Yep.
Like, they're both bad outcomes, but the right one for you is somewhere in the middle of the two.
Yep.
And usually a little bit more on the regimented side than most people initially think, in order to actually have the result that they want. And sometimes this is kind of a tangent, but sometimes you'll explain that to somebody of, okay, the result you want of, losing this amount of weight in this much time, that's going to require that actually we don't have many off-plan eating occasions. And the rule that I like to use for this with clients when we've got more of a strict like fat loss goal is, okay, if something really comes up, and if it's someone that I've been working with for a while, they know what I mean by that. Of, it's your mum's birthday, you've got a wedding, you've got something big, like, absolutely go and do it. But if not, don't go, oh, it's a Saturday, what am I going to have to eat this week? Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing there, of going, okay, we're not going to have many of these occasions unless you deem that it's worthy of it. And clients need to be honest with themselves about that, of, is this something that's really worth it, or am I just doing it to make myself feel a little bit better today? Because you'll say to some people that, actually, like, the amount that you're going off plan at the moment isn't going to get you to your result. We need to do A, B, and C in order to get there. And like, actually, that's not fucking worth it.
Yep.
Like, it's not worth the thing that I want to achieve. And that's like absolutely fine. Like, especially with more of my in-person clients, because the focus on that is inherently a little bit more on training, is like, I'm happy with doing basically whatever they want to do diet wise.
Yep.
As long as they're happy with the results of that.
Yes.
If that's we just train and they carry on eating how they were currently eating, and they accept that especially if, you know, if they've got a fat loss goal, I'm like, okay, well, this probably isn't going to get you there. And they're like, well, you know, we've done a couple of months now and I'm happy with the changes I'm seeing so far. Let's keep going with this. Cool. That's fine with me. Or it's, yeah, you know, we're in a decent position here training wise, but I haven't really seen the fat loss changes that I wanted to. And I'm like, okay, well, that probably becomes with being a little bit more regimented with things. That would look like A, B, and C. Again, are you happy with it? It's not me shouting at them, you have to do this. Like, back to the earlier thing I was saying there, like, I don't really give a fuck if you get a result or not. In the sense of it's your decision as long as you're happy with that. Sure, it's great for me and I've got extra stuff for marketing, but I can't force you to do anything. Just like I can't force you not to do something. It's got to inherently come from you. But to tie it back to our conversation, something like Ozempic can make that a hell of a lot easier to actually stick to thing.
Absolutely. It levels an unfair playing field, and it seems to be the only intervention where people aren't okay with it. I imagine a very similar thing would have happened when type 1 diabetics started to get insulin shots. You know, there was some kind of pushback on that. I imagine that when blood pressure management came into things, maybe people had an issue with that. I imagine TRT had similar pushback. I imagine general HRT had a similar pushback. I imagine that melatonin and insomnia medications were also similarly put back on. I think it's just
getting that artificially good sleep.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think the kind of pushback on like these people have an issue that I don't, and therefore need an intervention that I don't. That's stupid. That's unfair. It's like, well, it's not, because it's just putting you on a level playing ground. You know, and there's always going to be some like inherent differences, like, you know, just because like if you've got like a single mum on Ozempic, there's still going to be some struggles that she faces in terms of like fat loss there, and there's going to be different struggles for someone who like takes too much Ozempic, or, you know, carries a large amount of muscle mass. And like if a bodybuilder were to take Ozempic, I would probably say that's not a wise decision, because you're going to probably chunder your fucking protein and just not be able to sustain enough calories to, you know, survive. But again, I think it's people who don't understand or have that issue, projecting themselves onto that person and thinking that they're just cheating, when actually, like, that's not the case at all.
I agree.
Bosh, I think we've absolutely smashed that, mate. I think everyone in the audience is completely agreed and on our side.
All two people. There's
no controversy at all.
Absolutely. Well, if anyone does disagree with this, please let us know. It'd be interesting to talk about it.
I'd like to hear if anyone's listening. So the main argument, we've only heard one argument against it, and we've rebutted it of like
the willpower thing. There's maybe something of, you know, they're going to be dependent on these things for the rest of their life in order to stay to stay at a good weight, and there's some credence to that for sure, but I think the net positive is still in favor of that, unless, you know, something comes out that, you know, after 5 years of taking Ozempic consistently, your liver spontaneously combusts and then you die. Like, yeah, okay, maybe don't take it continuously then.
Yeah, I think the majority of people who are going to use Ozempic are going to use it to become a decent body fat percentage, or more moderate body fat percentage, drop a bit of weight, live a little bit healthier, and hopefully use that as motivation to kind of like maintain what they've built. But yeah, I don't think it takes away from anyone in any case. And hey, if you have no issues with hunger and you want to take Ozempic, cool. It's still not going to make dieting super fucking easy. There's still going to be you know, there's still going to be like moving around enough. There's still going to be actually sticking to the food. There's still going to be managing energy levels, etc., etc. And so it's not going to be an incredibly smooth ride just because of one factor, but it does make things slightly easier. And even if you don't need it, again, I really don't think you're going to get that much benefit out of it. So it's not really going to be a huge benefit, But yeah, I think we've done it, mate.
I think we have smashed it. What are you doing the rest of this evening?
I'm going to walk the dog. I'm going to clear through my WhatsApp after this. I'm going to walk the dog. And then I'm going to watch Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh, do you know why they called Big Brother?
Is it named after the Orwell story?
Yep.
It is, yeah.
Mate, have you listened? Have you read that?
No, I'm not cool enough. I was really hoping you wouldn't ask. Fuck.
It's on Spotify Premium. You get the audiobook included. It's really good. 1984.
Yeah. I know I need to. It's one of those ones.
Really good, mate. Like I was listening to it while I was driving, and I was like, where can I drive to so I can listen to more of this? It was that good.
It's one of those ones where I've never heard anyone read it and be like, what a waste of time. It's always positively reviewed. So I do need to read it, listen to it. Almost said watch it, fucking hell. Read it or listen to it. But yeah, if anyone's got any book recommendations for me, hit me up. I'm thinking of copping a Kindle. And if I do, any book recommendations. So that'd be ideal. This definitely isn't because I'm trying to bait interaction.
Oh, fair. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Well,
yeah. If you want to get coached by Luke, Instagram is LacticAddictLuke. You want to get coached by me, it's Jack_Archery Academy. If you want Ozempic, hit us up. We have our own stores. Can you imagine the conflict of interest?
Yeah, that'd be so funny.
If you want clothing,
coaching packages. So this is how much it costs for my normal coaching. If you want your Ozempic included, it's an extra a month. Mate, someone's gonna do that.
Ozempic coaching, fucking like twice the price. Oh, bro, it's just so complicated. There's so much.
Oh, you overate on Friday? Yeah, let's increase the pinning frequency.
Can you imagine? Yeah, we're gonna.
They're developing an oral form though.
Are they?
Yep.
I'll be intrigued to see how that plays out.
Yeah, enjoy the liver toxicity.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it would be, but yeah, typically oral interventions aren't great. I wonder if they'll ever make it topical, little cream that you rub on your belly. It makes you less hungry.
Well, they did that with testosterone, and then it's like, oh, my missus grew a beard from that.
Oh yeah, it was shit.
It just rubs off on you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it was good for hair growth, but pretty much that's it. You're meant to rub it on your scrotum. And
anabolic.
I know. Of all of the people who I've had come to me who were hypogonadal, who used test gels, none of them have ever said it worked. All of them get pissed off when they get prescribed it because they make you try it for like 2 to 4 weeks to see if it works. They like ramp up the dose. And then like it almost never works. It's ridiculous. It's kind of embarrassing and it never works. And then they'll be like, fine, we'll put you on injectable testosterone. And they're like, fucking finally, thank you.
Yeah.
What they came there for, but yeah, it's funny.
Mate, that's a whole separate debate about how they just harpoon people and then are like, oh yeah, see you in 8 weeks, mate.
Oh God, don't get me wrong. Don't get me fucking started on using cypionates and shit like that. Christ. Anyway.
Disgusting behavior.
We'll leave it there. Right. Thank you for your time, mate. And thank you everyone who listened.
In a bit, guys.
Bye.